What if a caveman found a phone? It's roughly 32,000 years ago, and this guy lives in what will eventually get called southern Germany, and his entire day so far has been walking somewhere to fetch a thing. Then something in the grass glints at him. Exactly one thing about this timeline is different. A modern phone, fully charged, is lying in the dirt in the Upper Palaeolithic. He's never seen a flat surface before, not once. Every object he has ever held came off an animal or out of a rock, and this thing is neither, and it's warm. The standard procedure for unidentified objects in 30,000 BC is short. Step 1, poke it with a stick. Step 2, hit it with the stick. Step 3, maybe hit it 3 times with the stick. Nothing happens. Obviously nothing happens because touchscreens need the mild electrical conductivity of human skin, and a stick is many things, but conductive is not one of them. So he gives up and picks it up, and it lights up in his hand. His first technological insight in the history of his species is that this object has a personal problem with wood. Behind him, his slightly slower friend Gary. He's got a theory, and the theory is shiny food. He quickly realizes that it is not food when he tries to bite it. Painful mistake for Gary. He takes the phone back from Gary and the screen goes dark on its own, so now he's holding a black rectangle, and he can see himself in it. He's seen his own face before, sort of, in water, but water gives you a wobbly guess at your own head, usually while you're drinking and slightly cross-eyed. This is different. This is the first properly reflective surface any human being has ever looked into. Nobody gets another one for about 24,000 years, when someone in what's now Turkey polishes a lump of obsidian into a mirror and invents both the mirror and the immediate regret that comes with it. So this is the moment. For thousands of years, human beings have walked around with no real idea what they look like, and it ends here, with this guy in a field. His reaction is not awe. His reaction is that he had assumed he was better looking than that. He tilts it, tries a different angle, tries the angle where the light comes from above, which is the good angle, and he has just discovered that too. Gary leans over his shoulder to look, sees a second Gary looking back, and decides that guy has a problem with him. Gary is still arguing with his reflection when something happens. The rock starts talking. Now, moving pictures he can actually handle. He's been painting the caves. He's seen the paintings where a bison has 8 legs stacked on top of each other so it looks like it's running, which is an animation of sorts. A picture that moves is weird, but it isn't impossible. A voice, though, with no person attached to it, is impossible. And speaking of things that turn up out of nowhere and start demanding your attention, you should subscribe. Anyway, the voice is calm. The voice is measured. The voice says something like, highs of 22 degrees, with light showers moving in from the west later this afternoon. He doesn't know what any of that means. He knows the tone. That is the tone of somebody who thinks they're in charge. So he does the only reasonable thing and challenges it. He stands up, squares off against a rectangle lying in the grass, and shouts at it. The forecast ends. Silence. He has won. Whatever was in there has backed down and left, and he did that, alone, unarmed. He'll be telling this story for the rest of his life. Gary has already run ahead to tell everyone. So the guy brings it back to the group, and this is where it stops being a funny afternoon and starts being a career, because everyone else touches it and gets nothing. Black glass. Dead weight. They hand it back with the specific face people make when they don't want to admit they can't see it either. He touches it in one spot and it lights up. He is not doing magic. He is pressing the power button. He is just the only person alive who knows where the power button is, and he has correctly worked out that this is the same thing as being a god. By the end of the afternoon, he has invented new professions. The priest, because the thing only answers to him, and gatekeeping, because he is absolutely not telling anyone where the button is. He goes from the guy who is fine at throwing spears to essential in about 4 hours, which is worth sitting with. The first thing technology ever did in a human group was sort people into who had it and who didn't. Gary is now his assistant. Gary did not apply for this. Gary's first job as assistant is carrying it, which is how the guy notices the small number in the corner has been going down this whole time. The screen dims. He tries what you'd try. He holds it up to the sun, because the sun is what makes other things warm and bright, and with the information available, that is good reasoning. Nothing. He puts it near the fire, which nearly ends the whole story right there. He offers it food. He is trying to feed a phone. Given the week he's had, that's not the worst theory in the group. What it would actually take is copper, which means digging up ore, and a fire hot enough to melt rock out of rock. And nobody manages that until around 5000 BC. He is closer in time to a living mammoth than to a piece of wire. And that's the part that isn't funny. He gets 3 days with the most advanced object ever made, and then it's the least useful thing he owns, and there was never anything he could have done about it. 2%. Gary suggests hitting it with a stick, but it dies in Gary's hands, which Gary will be hearing about for years. The guy does the sensible thing and lies about it. He tells the group it's resting. It gets its own spot by the fire. He announces that it will speak again when it wants to, which buys him about 2 days. Then somebody asks to hold it, and he lets them, because refusing would be worse. Nothing happens. Somebody else tries. Nothing happens for them either, which is exactly what used to happen, except now it also doesn't happen for him. He presses the spot in front of everyone, and nothing at all happens. And the entire group watches the priest fail to do the one thing the priest does. They turn on him because they think he has destroyed a god. The group gets a new spiritual leader by the end of the week. It's Gary. Gary has been near the object longer than anyone, and he has bite marks to prove it. So they've got a dead god on their hands, and you can't just leave a dead god in the grass. They bury it properly. And we know what properly looks like because we keep digging up graves from this period stuffed with thousands of carved ivory beads, each one drilled by hand. The whole set costing somebody about a year of their life. These people spent real time on the dead. A god would get the full treatment. And that's it. That's the entire historical effect of the most advanced object ever built. One man's career, one promotion for Gary, one hole in the ground. What would you give a caveman to change the course of humanity? Let me know in the comments.